Hello everyone, welcome to another Dialogues video. Today we bring you some breaking news. OpenAI has released GPT-4.5. Their latest and greatest model has been released. Today is February 27th, and we'll go over the release notes, talk a little bit about what they're claiming their new model does. We'll dive into the costs, which I have strong feelings about, and we do some comparisons and talk about the future. So this is the press release they did today for GPT 4.5. Basically, it's obviously their largest and best model for chat that they're releasing. They mention a lot unsupervised learning, that GPT 4.5 is making strides on unsupervised learning so they can infer more knowledge from the real world. And they also mentioned, very interestingly, up until now, there has been a very sharp difference between models that are reasoning models versus the rest of the models that are considered chat models. You basically ask them a question and they give you a straight answer, versus the reasoning models where there's a whole chain of thought process of the model thinking first before giving you an answer. And that allows them to give more nuanced responses for professional requests like software engineering, science. This allows them to get to that extra layer of complexity. With GPT 4.5, supposedly, basically the model differentiates between the types of requests, and they can provide you with a reasoned answer without really going through the reasoning process, which is very interesting. Something else they really focus on is the emotional intelligence, creative intelligence, which is something that users are starting to use more and more. With ChatGPT specifically, they're using it as a therapist to talk about their daily life, their struggles, if they're having a bad day, or just with daily struggles that every person has, not necessarily for coding or for questions about a professional environment. And what you oftentimes see when you do this, and it has happened to me particularly, let me find it here. They show an example which is very common. This one. Hey, you ask it, I'm going through a tough time after failing a test. And this was the previous answer with GPT-4. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear this. And then the usual machine response where you can tell this is not a human, obviously giving you the answer, because it lacks some empathy, right? Oh, this is the solution, very structured. You can try these things. Number 1, bold, and then description. Number 2, seek support, description. Number 3, I don't need this. I'm like venting out with you, being emotional, opening myself, which sounds very strange now that I'm saying it out loud. But this is the response that it gives now. When you're venting out and you're being emotional, you don't really want a blog post outline of what you need to do to overcome this miserable part of your life. No, you just want some empathy. And with GPT 4.5, this emotional intelligence aspect of it allows it to give you a valuable response that fits the type of question or the type of conversation you're looking for, which is, it's a very, how do I say it? It contrasts a lot compared to what's currently out there with 4o and O3 Mini. They also claim that this model is going to have fewer hallucinations. It's still a thing. Sometimes hallucinate when they don't have enough information. A colleague at work recently sent me a video, and I'm going to link here in the description, asking the LLM or ChatGPT or basically anyone out there that's been trained with images that are on the internet to draw a glass of wine that's full. How many times have you seen a glass of wine that's full? Literally to the top? Never, right? Like, I have personally never seen a glass of wine that's full, but I can picture it in my mind. Since it's very rare to see that image on the internet, on Google search, or like a photograph of a glass of wine full, that means it's not part of the data set of the LLM. So if you ask it to show you a glass of wine full up to the brim, it's just going to show you a glass of wine poured correctly, about half of, or less than half of the cup. That's an example of hallucination. And they claim with ChatGPT 4.5, you'll have less of that. Now, to the part that I'm not so thrilled about is the pricing. If you're going to use this with an app right now, to use this on chat with like going to chatgpt.com and using the 4.5 model, you need to be a pro member or what's the other tier? You basically need to be a pro. You need to have a pro subscription to be able to use it right now. For free, you still get the GPT-4o Mini. And that's the one that you can use. It gives you very good results. This is a good segue to the pricing. How much does it cost to use this model right now if you want to build an app with it? Using API requests is going to cost you $75 per million tokens, which is a lot. Compare that to GPT-4o Mini, which is, again, the one that you can use if you go to chatgpt.com and ask it questions, or you can use it with Cursor if you have the subscription. It costs only 15 cents per million tokens. That's 500 times more expensive than the current. I would say I would consider this a good model to use daily. The new model 4.5 is 500 times more expensive. If you build an application with this, for example, something that parses document, if you parse a PDF document using the OpenAI API and the document ends up having 1 million tokens, approximately 1 million words, sometimes a word is more than one token, but back of the napkin calculation, let's say for simplicity, 1 token equals 1 word. If the PDF ends up being 1 million words long, you already ate 75. OpenAI already charged you $75. Compare that to using the GPT-4o Mini model. The same document, the same PDF with 1 million words would have costed you only 15 cents versus $75. I don't know, we need to see how big of an impact this will have in the ecosystem. Users, companies, power users, how much they're going to be using this. The other thing is the future. GPT-5, they already mentioned it here, and Sam Altman has mentioned it in his X posts. He's already mentioned GPT-5. I think it's like between 2 and 6 months away. Whenever that model gets released, it's going to devaluate GPT-4.5. Instead of costing $75, it's going to cost way less. And that's going to keep happening. And we're only talking about OpenAI. Anthropic, recently, they also released Claude 3.7, which is like considerably better than Claude 3.5, which was the standard for coding using Cursor. It came installed by default with code editors. So as we know, the AI world is moving incredibly rapidly. This video that you're seeing today, it's probably going to be updated in 2 weeks, a month, when another company or the same OpenAI releases a newer, better model. But the good news is the prices are going to go down because the newer model is going to have more capacity. So it's always worth it to build apps and to build things, just ship them using these APIs, you can use a 4o Mini. By the time they release GPT-5, you'll have a discounted rate on GPT 4.5 and so on. Yeah, it's incredible how fast this world of AI is moving. I'm all in for it. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see what the world is going to do with this model. Congratulations to OpenAI on releasing this. And let me know what you build with this. If you want to know more about how we're using AI in web development, feel free to visit dialogues.com, send me an email, leave a comment down below, and let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.